Hi, I'm your host, Rick Sessinghouse, and excited to launch Flow Golf Podcast. Each episode, we will share stories, interview experts, and share cutting-edge strategies for peak performance. Here's my co-host, Hallam Morgan, to explain more about FlowCode Golf.
Thanks, Rick. FlowCode Golf is a framework of strategies, principles, and techniques that take us from fear to the state of flow, the state of optimal performance, and the zone where we play our best golf. You can find out more about FlowCode Golf at www.flowcode.golf. And I just want to finish up by saying this podcast is as much your podcast as it is ours. So please ask questions, provide feedback, and get engaged. I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Welcome back to the Flow Golf Podcast. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday period with family and friends. And I'm super excited to dive into another episode here where I'm going to explain a bit more about how FlowCode can help you and your players shoot lower scores and enjoy the game more. But before I do that, I want to give some more context on where this all started. So at FlowCode, we've certified over 200 golf coaches worldwide, which we're incredibly grateful for and very proud of. And as we started to work more closely with those golf coaches, we started to ask a few questions. And the first question we asked them was, do you think the mental game of golf is important? Now, luckily, almost every single one of them said yes. So we asked them a second question. And that next question was, do you currently provide a mental game training solution for your players? Now, interestingly, about 95% of those coaches did not provide a mental game training solution for their players. And of the 5% that did, the only solution that was available really was that they would bring a sports psychologist or a mental game expert into their academy or into their facility. That expert would do a 2 or 3 hour workshop with their students on the mental game of golf, which would be incredible. And then they would wave that person goodbye, and they might not see them again for another 6 months, another year maybe. And we looked at that and we thought, interesting. Imagine doing that with a fitness trainer. You bring the fitness trainer in, they do a killer workout with your players. They're all dead on the floor, exhausted. And then you wave that person goodbye and don't see them again for another 3 to 6 months. And you wonder why your players aren't getting stronger, more mobile, etc. Of course not, right? We can't work out once every 6 months and expect to improve our physical fitness. So why do we expect the same with the mental game? And that really raised a flag for us. So we started to dive a bit deeper and we considered, well, if I want to work on other aspects of my game, where do I go? So if I want to work on my swing and technique, where do I go? I go to the range. If I want to work on my physical fitness, where do I go? I go to the gym. If I want to work on my mental game, where do I go? I'm not sure. There's not an obvious digital or physical location that we can go to or our students can go to genuinely train their mind on a daily basis. That's the gap that we recognized at FlowCode. That for every other aspect of the game, we have a physical or digital location that we or our players can go to in order to train that component every single day. But for the mental game, we don't. So that's what FlowCode created. We created this gym for the mind, this range for the mind, a place that players can go to every single day to genuinely work on their mental game. Because we're big believers that you can't learn the mental game and expect better results. You have to truly train it. The joke that I always make to people is I can't listen to a podcast about getting bigger biceps and then wake up tomorrow and have bigger biceps. I wish that was the case. It would be a hell of a lot easier. But the reality is I have to get myself in the gym. I have to pick up that dumbbell and I have to do those bicep curls. And only when I repeat that over and over and over again, over a long period of time, will my biceps start to grow. The mind is no different. We have to do the practical training. We have to show up on a daily basis. And only when we show up on a daily basis and truly train our mind will we develop the focus, the emotional control, the confidence that's required for us to perform when it matters most. That's what FlowCode has set as their mission, to help every single one of you and your players achieve those things. So I want to dive a bit deeper into this topic in understanding how FlowCode helps players shoot lower scores. And I want to use an analogy to do this, one of my favorite analogies, in all honesty. So for this analogy, I want to take you out onto the golf course. Let's imagine that you are second shot on a par 4. Let's imagine you are in the middle of the fairway, so you have a perfect lie. And let's for a moment imagine that you are 150 yards to the flag. You've got water short of the green, and you've got water long of the green. Let's imagine that you turn to your golf bag, and as you look at your golf bag, you realize that all you have is your putter. How does that make you feel? You have 150 yards, water short, water long, so it's an island green, and the only club you have available is your putter. Now, for most people, probably going to feel confused, maybe a bit anxious, maybe a bit tense, frustrated. Why have I not got my clubs? But now I want to paint a different picture. Let's imagine the exact same scenario. So we're 150 yards from the flag, water short, water long. But in this scenario, we turn to our golf bag and we've got that perfect club from 150 yards. Whether it's your 9-iron, your 8-iron, your 7-iron, your 6-iron, whatever that club is, it's your perfect club from 150 yards. And you pull that perfect club out your bag and you hold that perfect club in your hand. How does that now make you feel? Do you feel the same as when you only had putter? Or do you feel different? My guess is that you probably feel more calm, more confident, maybe even a bit more excited about the opportunity to hit a great golf shot. But what's interesting in that scenario is that the environment was exactly the same. You still had 150 yards to the flag. You still had water short. You still had water long. The only thing that changed in that situation was the tools that you had available to overcome the challenge in front of you. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this connect to the mental game? Well, most people are going out onto the golf course with the equivalent of just a putter in their bag. And let me explain. Whenever we go out on the golf course, we will face mental game challenges. The same way we faced a challenge with that club in our hand, with the water short, water long, island green, that's a challenge. We'll also face mental challenges. Some anxiety creeps in, some pressure mounts. We lose focus and get distracted. There will always be mental game challenges when we're out on the golf course. Now, most people, when we experience those mental game challenges, they're turning to their mental golf bag to see what's available, and they have no mental golf clubs in the mental golf bag. It is completely empty. So the anxiety kicks in, the pressure starts to mount, and they turn to see what they have available, and there's nothing. There are no tools. And it's actually that lack of tools that creates the spiral, that impacts performance and creates a detriment to their score. So instead, what we want to help yourself, your players do, is we want to help you fill up your mental golf bag with as many mental golf clubs as possible. So that when you face a mental challenge, anxiety creeps in, some frustration, some nerves, some pressure, you can turn to your mental golf bag and you can say, no problem, that's that breathwork golf club. That's that visualization golf club. That's that focus golf club. And you can pull that golf club out, hypothetically, and you can stand there with confidence, with calmness, that you know how to navigate that mental challenge. No different to you pulling that perfect club from 150, knowing that you have the capability to overcome the challenge that's in front of you. That's what we're here to help you do. But the important message again, as it pertains to this topic, is that those clubs can't just be thrown in your bag and for you to expect yourself to be able to utilize them. The same way, if I've never ever hit a 7-iron in my life, I can't expect to just pull a 7-iron out when I'm facing a challenge and hit a great shot. I have to have practiced with that 7-iron. I have to have trained with that 7-iron multiple times, over and over and over and over again. So as I know how to utilize the tool to overcome the challenge. So I need two things. I need the tool and I need the skill with that tool to overcome the challenge in front of me. The mind is no different. So if you have a breathwork club in your mental golf bag, first of all, you need it there. But second of all, you need to have trained it. You need to know that when you pull out that breathwork golf club, you know what to do with it because you've trained it, you've practiced it so many times before. And when we start to get to a place where we've got a full mental golf bag, we have all of the clubs available to us. That puts us into an incredibly powerful place because we no longer fear any of these mental challenges. We don't fear getting a bit anxious. We don't fear getting a bit nervous. We don't fear getting frustrated. We don't fear those moments coming down the stretch when the pressure starts to mount. We accept them, we become aware of them, and we navigate them because we know we have the skills, we know we have the tools to overcome them. That is an incredibly powerful place because I will never say to you that you won't get nervous, you won't get anxious, you won't feel pressure. The best players in the world still get anxious, still feel nervous, still feel pressure. So we will always experience those things. It's not about trying to remove them and avoid them completely. The goal here is, can we experience them and can we overcome them? Can we navigate them through the tools, through the skills that we've developed? So how do we start to fill up that mental golf bag with those mental golf clubs? Well, exactly the same way that we would our actual golf bag. If we have a breathwork golf club in our mental golf bag, we need to work on it. Away from the golf course, away from competition, we need to start training this on a daily basis. We need to implement breathwork as part of our daily routine. Doesn't need to be much. Could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Start training breathwork, both on and off the golf course. It could be as simple as what we call a slow breath. A slow breath would be a full inhalation through the nose, expanding through the belly, followed by a slow and extended exhale through what we call pursed lips. So we imagine we have like a straw between our lips. And as we extend that exhale for as long as possible, we put ourselves into a deeper sense of calm and relaxation. When you first try the slow breath, my recommendation would be a 4-second inhale through the nose, expanding through the belly, followed by roughly an 8-second exhale through pursed lips. But my challenge to you is, as you start to get comfortable with that level, that you start to increase the challenge. And you start to get to a place where you can do not only an 8-second exhale, but you can do 12 seconds, and then 16 seconds, and then 20 seconds, and then 24 seconds. When you start to elevate that challenge and you get to a place where you can do 16 or 20-second exhales, you're starting to become a master with that breathwork club. So again, when you get out onto the golf course and you start to experience some nerves and some anxiety, you know you've got a powerful golf club, a powerful mental golf club sat in your bag that you know will help you shift your state, that you know will lower your heart rate, release that grip pressure, improve that tempo, so that even when you're anxious, you can still play great golf. So have a think about that and really consider, what mental golf clubs do you have available in your mental golf bag right now? And if the answer is none, start to consider, what mental golf clubs do I want to start with? You might not need a full set to begin with. Don't go crazy. The same way when you start golf for the first time, you don't need all 14 clubs immediately. Start to think about some of the key clubs. Could you just add breathwork? Could you just add one more, visualization? And slowly get really good at a few clubs first before you expand and build a bigger mental golf bag. But I can promise you that if you start to add those mental golf clubs, the next time you experience some of those emotions, some of those challenges out on the golf course, you're going to be more confident, you're going to be more calm, and you're not going to create that spiral that we've all experienced that then leads to the dreaded bogey train. So I hope today's episode was useful. Always open and excited to hear your thoughts on what topics you want us to cover. I wish you all a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks all.